Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. Hopefully you had a good weekend, all that good stuff. Apologies, no stream yesterday. Had some stuff going on, but we're back. And we streamed over the weekend, so we're locked in for the rest of the week and probably the weekend as well. As long as there's college games on, I'll stream. So we should be streaming this weekend as well. So I'll keep you guys in the loop on that. We have a lot to talk about, though, man. We've got the tournament. Obviously, we got to catch up on that, recap everything from the weekend. We've got MLB first look. MLB is coming fast. We've got it this week. So we're going to be, you guys know kind of how it goes here. We'll be doing full daily MLB previews. It's a lot easier for me to cover baseball than basketball, NBA. So, we'll have daily streams going over the, MLB slate for the day. I'll be building, like I told you guys on Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember. I'll be building some MLB data spaces on Rolling Insights, and we'll have a lot to talk about. So it should be pretty good. But we're going to kind of update what's going on here in the tournament. We've made it to the Sweet 16. We've got several, futures bets that we discussed on the stream live, very live. We have some futures on Bama, Final Four, and to win the title. We've got a Final Four ticket on Maryland from a long time ago when I first started talking about college on the streams back right when football ended. We've got Texas Tech to the Final Four and to win the title, still alive. We've got Ole Miss. They already cashed a Sweet 16 bet for us, and we've got them to make the Elite Eight. So we've got that live. And then we've got the big ones on Houston, the max on them to make the Elite Eight and the title futures. So we've got a lot to watch for these next few rounds. A lot of teams still in the mix for us. The one regret I have is not betting Kentucky Sweet 16 Elite 8. I feel really stupid because when the bracket first came out, I hopped on a call with some people. We were kind of talking through the bracket, and my first inkling when I saw the bracket was I said Kentucky was going to go to the Elite 8, and then I just kind of went away from that over the next 2 days when I was doing my research, and I feel really stupid. I should have trusted my gut there. They would have already cashed the Sweet 16, and I think Kentucky's going to win this game outright against Tennessee. But we'll kind of go. We'll talk about that as the week goes on because we're going to obviously be streaming Thursday and Friday, so we'll do like a more full preview of the games then. And we've got opening day coming up as well, so like the Thursday and Friday streams are going to be absolutely loaded. If you guys have any questions on anything, go ahead and ask as well. In terms of just higher level thoughts on the tournament games, like I said, we'll do the full preview on Thursday and Friday, but just higher level, I feel good about Bama winning this game. Really high total. Both teams want to play fast and get out and score offensively. That is Alabama's game. Obviously, we know fastest pace in the country. And it's kind of like Alabama is a better version of BYU. So I think I would give them the edge since both teams want to play that way. I'll just default to the better team, which I think is Alabama. I think Alabama would struggle more with a slow team that could slow them down and kind of cause problems, get them out of their element. That is when I would be concerned for Bama, which is kind of what Duke does. Duke does not play at a fast pace. So I definitely think it's going to be a challenge for any team to beat Duke at this point. Specifically, it's going to be a tough matchup for Alabama, but I think they should beat BYU personally. Maryland and Florida, man, this Florida team has just been my nemesis. I had a big bet on them on Sunday to cover the 9.5 against UConn. And UConn really, really gave them fits on defense. They were completely out of their element on offense. They were not getting anything that they wanted on offense, nothing they're accustomed to. And the only reason that they managed to win the game was Walter Clayton just took over himself and went and got buckets at the end of the game. It was really crazy. Like I haven't seen Florida struggle like that offensively in quite some time. UConn got a ton of open looks as well, and they just weren't knocking them down. I mean, if UConn was a better team, they would have beat Florida. They got plenty of open looks. I don't know if Maryland can cause those same problems. We'll see. It also can go either way, I think, coming off the emotional, last second win. So we'll kind of see how that plays, but I'll probably go back to Florida once again and to bet them to cover the spread, and I'm sure they'll, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm probably going to bet Florida again, and they'll probably just let us down. I don't know. This team's been my nemesis. I feel the need to chase my losses now on them. Arizona and Duke. I don't think Duke will have any problems with Arizona personally. They'll probably win by 10 or more. So I think Duke's just going to walk in to the Elite Eight here. Shouldn't have any issues just overall. Arkansas, Texas Tech, I think is going to be a very good game. I need to see if Texas Tech's going to have Chance McMillan back. If I had to guess, I would say no, because it didn't sound to me like he was very close to playing in their last game. And he's kind of the skeleton key for them, man. Like if they could get a healthy Chance McMillan back, I would take Texas Tech to the Final Four and potentially the national title game. It's unfortunate that he's injured to the point where he's not able to play. So I'm assuming he's not going to play in this game. I'd still lean Texas Tech. So I'll still take Texas Tech, but if they had Chance McMillan, I think they would roll here, and I'd probably take them to the national title game. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe closer to the weekend we can get some more information, I guess, on whether or not he'll be playing. But it kind of looks like he's not going to be playing, unfortunately, for them. And that's sucks because I kind of thought there was a chance that he'd come back, and it just doesn't appear that way. Ole Miss, Michigan State. So we basically have an 8-1 money line ticket on Ole Miss in this game. And I think Ole Miss is very live to win this game. Michigan State's looked a little shaky at times early on against Bryant. They struggled against New Mexico as well. New Mexico was right in that game. And Ole Miss is the style of team that I think can upset Michigan State because Michigan State is not a great three-point shooting team. And Ole Miss is going to force you defensively. They're going to force you to take threes against them. And that's not Michigan State's game. And Ole Miss has been on fire against North Carolina and Iowa State shooting. I mean, like I said, they don't overly rely on one person. They have plenty of guys that can score, but their three-point shooting has been on fire. They were insane. I want to see I'm going to pull it up. I want to see what they've shot percentage-wise. So against North Carolina, they shot 40% from three. I thought it was a little bit better than that. I think it was early on. I think they kind of went cold in the second half, but still 40% from three against North Carolina. And then against Iowa State, even better. They shot 57% from three. They made 11 of 19 threes. Malik Dio went 2 for 2. Padula 3 for 8. Morrell 3 for 3. And then Brakefield off the bench went 2 for 2 from 3. Just a very, very good shooting team. I think they can give Michigan State fits. I think they can disrupt Michigan State's offensive flow. So I actually feel really confident in our Ole Miss ticket. Like I said, we basically have an 8-1 money line ticket on them, and I feel pretty good. I would pick Ole Miss to win this game right now with how they've been playing. They've been absolutely rolling. So That's exciting to say the least. Probably won't hedge at all. If Michigan State gets down big, then I would look to hedge. But for now, I'm probably not gonna hedge anything there. I think Kentucky's gonna win this game. I said that. I love how they've been playing. They've already beat Tennessee twice. I don't believe the rumor or the myth that it's hard to beat a team 3 times. I just don't believe in that. I think that if you've beat a team twice, I think it's easy to beat them again because you know exactly what to do. I think it's a bad matchup for Tennessee. If Kentucky's knocking down outside shots, it's really hard for Tennessee to keep pace with them offensively. They can just stall out at times on offense, and that's why Kentucky's been able to beat them twice already. So I like Kentucky again in that matchup. I like Auburn over Michigan, I think. I think Michigan's luck is going to run out, to be honest with you. They should have lost to Texas A&M. That was more a Texas A&M loss than it was a Michigan win, I think. Texas A&M just completely choked. Wade Taylor choked. And then Roddy Gale had the game of his life. I'm not really expecting that to continue. So I'd probably take Auburn over Michigan. And then I think Houston is going to bully Purdue. I thought they were going to bully Gonzaga, and they did for the mass majority of that game until the last 3 minutes. And then Gonzaga is just a good team. I think it's telling, which I told you guys on Sunday, it's telling that Houston opened up at -4.5 against Gonzaga, and they're -7.5 against Purdue. Because they only closed -5.5 against Gonzaga. So we're talking about Houston was a smaller favorite against the 8 seed than the 4 seed. Like, it was just a clear misseeding. And I mean, honestly, like, I know Gonzaga cut it to 3 late in the game, but it really never felt like Houston was going to lose that game. And it's kind of the same thing here. Purdue can do some interesting things with the pick and roll, but Houston is just too good. Like, it's just, first of all, I think they're way too physical for Purdue's front court. I have some questions about TKR, if he's going to struggle with the physicality or not, which is what I thought Gonzaga would struggle with. What I think is so interesting is just how good Houston is offensively this year compared to past seasons. Like, if we look at that Gonzaga game, if I just read this stat line off to you guys, you would assume that this team won the game. Like, if I just said there was a team in the second round of the tournament that shot 45% from 3, they shot 50% from the field, they made 15 of 15 free throws, right? That sounds like very good numbers. They scored 76 points, they shot 50% from the floor, 45% from 3, and they made 15 of 15 free throws. You would think that that team had a pretty good chance to win their game. That's what Gonzaga just did. Gonzaga did that against the number 1 defense in the country, and they never led in the game. They never one time had a lead in that game with that stat line. That's insane. That's how good this Houston team is, and I just don't think Purdue can match up, honestly, physically. So I think Houston big over Purdue, and then I think Houston is going to handle either Kentucky or Tennessee. And I think we need to get the Duke Houston matchup because it's the 2 best teams in the country, in my opinion. And I'll feel like we got robbed if we don't get a Duke. Like, I want to see Duke Houston. I think it would be a rock fight. I think it would be awesome. Houston has the size to match up with Duke, right? With Cooper Flagg and Malawak and some of those guys. Like, Houston's got the big men in the front court. When you think about Roberts and Tugler, even Francis can match up. Like, I think it'd be such a good game. And they've got the defenders, the shooting. Like, it would just be one of the best games in the last 5 years, I think. So I'm really excited. I hope we get Duke Houston. And I don't know what the line would be, but at that point, we would definitely have to hedge then on some Houston, I think, for sure. Bama game crazy over under. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened last year, Ryan, too. I mean, Bama, when they went to the Final Four last year, I think their 3 tournament games after the first round were like upper 170s in total. Let me see. I want to pull up what those final score were. All right, so this is this year, last year. Okay. So their first tournament game, they won 109-96. So obviously very, very high scoring there. And then 72-61 over Grand Canyon. 89-87 over UNC. 89-82 over Clemson. And then they lost 86-72 to UConn in the Final Four. So I think if anything, that game probably goes over just because BYU is completely fine. Like they're not going to try and slow you down at all. Like they want to get out and run too. So there should be plenty of offense in that game. It should be a fun game to watch. I like that it's one of the first game. It's a good game to start out with. Exciting, a lot of offense. So yeah, those are just my higher level thoughts on the games. We'll talk more and get deeper on Thursday and Friday. I'm still alive at my survivor pools as well. Ended up going Auburn over the weekend and then ended up going Maryland. That was very sweaty. But Derek Queen got it done for us. So I think for survivor right now, I'm kind of leaning Bama for Thursday. Friday, I have no idea because my thought process on this is if we use Bama now, I'm not gonna if we have to, I'm not gonna want to use Bama over Duke in the Elite Eight, right? So I'd rather use them now. And then if they get through, I don't have to worry about using them over Duke. If we use Texas Tech and they win, I would be if we have to take an upset at some point to differentiate, I would rather take my chances with Texas Tech over Florida than I would Bama over Duke, especially because I already have futures tickets on Alabama to make the Final Four and to win the title. So that would be kind of like a natural hedge of I don't want to double down on that. So I think I'd rather use Bama on Thursday and save Texas Tech potentially for the matchup against Florida because I'm never going to want to use Bama over Duke. So I'm leading Bama for survivor pools on Thursday. Friday is a complete mystery because I've already used Auburn, so I can't just take them over Michigan, the safe, easy pick. I don't want to use Houston over Purdue. So it basically is going to come down to me picking correctly between Kentucky, Tennessee, or Ole Miss, Michigan State. The easy situation here would be probably to use Michigan State because I have the futures ticket on Ole Miss. So I either advance in my survivor pool or I cash the 8-1 Ole Miss to make the Elite Eight. That's probably where I would lean. But at the same time, I legitimately think the underdogs are going to win those games. I honestly think Ole Miss is going to beat Michigan State, and I honestly think Kentucky is going to beat Tennessee. So do I just get crazy and use Kentucky? Because I'm assuming most people that are picking that game will be picking Tennessee. And most people picking the other game will be picking Michigan State just because those are the teams that are favored. So some really, really interesting situations for survivor pools on Friday if we can get there. We'll talk about it more after Thursday. We got to see if we can get Bama through first here. If you guys have questions on anything else pertaining to the tournament, just drop that in. I'm going to switch over here. We're going to talk baseball for a little bit. Look at some potential futures. I have some teams I like in the futures market for baseball this year, so I'm going to be betting on them, and then we're going to have some teams to root for throughout the season. And I'm a big MLB TV guy. You guys know I watch more baseball than anyone. So these will be the teams I'll be watching a lot this year. We will become big fans of these teams. I'm going to be taking them. There's two teams that I have in mind. I'll be taking to win the World Series. I'll be taking to win the pennant. I'll be taking to win their division. And maybe win total too. Maybe win total too. We'll see. But let's talk about it. So, and there's some other teams I like too, but there's two teams in specific that I really, really like in the futures market. And I mean, we'll talk more. Obviously, like I said, we're going to be covering baseball daily on the streams, running through all the games. We're going to be going game by game all summer long on baseball, using data spaces, all sorts of stuff. So to start out, the teams that I'm really interested in, and I don't know if these are the best numbers. I haven't bet any yet, so I'm gonna go search out the best numbers. I'm assuming I can find better numbers than what's on FanDuel. Typically, FanDuel a little bit sharper lines. Let me see. I'll try and pull up DraftKings. Let's just see if there's any differential here real quick before I start talking about these teams. And if you guys have any baseball teams you like or any futures picks you like for baseball, post those in the chat. I'm curious to see what you guys have. Do we have a futures here? Okay, worse odds on DraftKings actually on one of the teams. The other team has a way better number. So, yeah, we're going to have to do some line shopping, I guess, if we're going to take these. But we'll talk about them. All right. First team that I really like this year is actually going to be a National League team. Obviously, the Dodgers, overwhelming favorite. Dodgers are probably going to win the World Series. But if we take these futures now and things go our way, we lock in good numbers. When the playoffs come, it's very easy to hedge. So that's kind of what the idea is. And that's why we take all these futures in March Madness as well, right? It's very easy to hedge these if you can get throughout the tournament. So, like Houston, for example, we have the title futures on them. If they can cash us the Elite Eight bet, we've already made money there, right? So we're already up theoretically on Houston. So when they play in the Elite Eight, they're going to be favored. It'll be easy to hedge that for a small amount. And then if they win again and they get to the Final Four, they're not going to be favored over Duke, but it's going to be close enough that I think you can hedge or just look for, a live opportunity potentially to hedge. But I think if we can get them to the Final Four, we're going to have to hedge a little bit just because looking at the futures I have on Houston, I think I'd win close to 20 units combined on them to win the title. So I definitely have some room to hedge that. And that's the goal even with these MLB futures, right? If we can get them into the playoffs and win some playoff series, it's very, very easy to hedge. Nathan, not a futures pick, but big Nats fan. We lose every opening day game. Yeah, Nathan, maybe do maybe parlay Philly with something or take a -1.5. I don't know. I gotta hold on a second here. All right. So the first team that I really like for the futures market is a National League. There's one National League team and one American League team that I really like, and these are going to be my main futures picks. So firstly, we're going to be taking, or I don't have to say I'm going to be taking. I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. You don't have to follow me if you don't want to, but I love the Atlanta Braves this year. I think they're going to return to prominence. I think they have a very good chance to win the World Series. I would give them a chance in a series, assuming full health here. I would give them a chance. I'd give them the best chance of any other team against the Dodgers in a series. I like their pitching options. I think, guys like Schwellenbeck, I think can take a big leap this year. They obviously still have Chris Sale and some of those guys. And then they're going to get Acuna back relatively early in the season. I think he's going to have a monster season. I really like the Atlanta Braves. So Atlanta, to win the World Series, to win the National League, to win their division, the NL East. These are going to be my first round of bets. Now, again, we may be able to find better numbers than this. So don't just go blindly bet stuff. Shop around. I haven't line shopped. I haven't bet anything yet, but I'm going to be taking some futures on the Atlanta Braves, firstly. And then secondly, if you've watched any streams of mine, you probably know this because I think I've talked about this team a few times, but the American League team I really like this year is the Texas Rangers. You can definitely get a better number than 19-1 for them to win the World Series. So I'll be looking at them same thing. World Series, to win the American League, and to win their division. Texas, if we think about them from a higher level point of view, 2 years ago, they won the World Series, right? Last year, they had a down season, but they were all really hurt. Corey Seager was hurt. They never had Jacob deGrom for the entire season. Wyatt Langford was hurt at times. If this Texas team is fully healthy, I think they're going to be really, really good. Like, Wyatt Langford is someone that I think is capable of putting himself in the MVP conversation. Jacob deGrom, if he's healthy, it's kind of like anything you can get from him is like cherry on top of what is already a very, very good team if healthy, I think. So Texas and Atlanta, those are going to be kind of collectively as a stream. Those are going to be our two teams this year, I think. So we're going to be talking about them a lot on the streams. We're going to be watching their games. I'll try and do some live. I'm still playing around with it, but I'd love to do some live, like kind of back what I was doing last summer, some watch alongs with the NBA finals. I'd love to do some watch alongs with baseball this year for Atlanta and Texas for our two teams. So we'll kind of explore that. But for futures, Atlanta and Texas are going to kind of be my two big teams this year. I also like in the AL Central, I like Detroit. So I'm kind of interested in them. Guardians, I think, could have a down year. I don't really know if their bullpen can repeat what they did last year, specifically Emmanuel Clase. And then same thing with the lineup. I just don't know. I'm hesitant to buy Cleveland, even though they had a great year last year. So I'm a little bit lower on them, and I'm a little bit lower on the Twins. I think the Tigers are well equipped to win the division this year. So I like Detroit a little bit for futures. And I also like in the AL East, I like Boston, especially with New York already hurt. Like, not having Garrett Cole is such a big factor for New York. They have an injury-prone lineup. First of all, they don't have Juan Soto anymore. If you think about Judge, Stanton specifically is already hurt, with the elbow problems. So I think that the AL East is wide open. I would not pick the Yankees to win it right now. It's probably between the Orioles and the Red Sox for me. I kind of trust the Red Sox pitching a little bit more, as crazy as that sounds. So I like Boston to win the AL East. I like Detroit to win the AL Central. So if we were just going through my personal divisional picks, I'll take Boston to win that division. And these are not specifically bets. I'm just saying my picks to win the division. Boston, Detroit, Texas. Houston will also be a playoff team. So they would operate in a wild card situation. There'll be another AL East team in there. I'll take Atlanta to win their division. I will take I'll take Dodgers, obviously, to win theirs. This is where it gets interesting. The NL Central, I think, is wide open. I like the Cubs, and I honestly like the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati, younger team, bringing in Terry Francona, who I think is very good at working with younger teams and getting the most out of those younger teams. I think they're going to play a really fun, exciting style of baseball. I think they'll be a good MLB TV team this year if you just want teams to watch. I think the Reds will be very fun to watch. And I think they're going to steal a lot of bases. I think they're live to win this division, honestly. So, I don't know. I'll pick the Cubs, but I think the Reds are right in there. Like, honestly, I might consider adding them maybe as a bet. I'll tweet out all our futures bets before the season starts later this week, so we can have a full list to follow along. For awards, AL I think's tough because if these two play a fully healthy season, I think it's going to be tough to really unseat either of them. I do think that Wyatt Langford is worth a long shot. Like I said, if he's fully healthy, I think he can work his way into that MVP conversation. So little bit interested in a long shot there. Vlad in a contract year is interesting. I just don't know how. I don't know if the Blue Jays will be good enough for the National League. Again, really tough to knock off Ohtani if he plays a fully healthy season. But someone like Acuna, if he comes back early enough, I think we'll be right in the mix there. Kyle Tucker, first season in Chicago, could be a little interesting. Cy Young, I am interested here. I could see Crochet winning this. I could see DeGrom winning this if he's healthy. I could see Hunter Brown winning this. Hunter Brown was so good post All-Star break last year. I mean, he could just put up a monster season, and I would not be shocked at all. For the National League, I mean, Skeens is the overwhelming favorite here. I don't really see a ton of long shots I like. Interesting that Schwellenbach's only 25-1. Like I said, I think he's going to take a huge leap this season. Kind of fitting in with my Braves love, but yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely interested in. I don't know what do we have like strikeout leader, regular season strikeout leader. I think I'd rather take strikeout leader for Crochet than I would the plus 360 for the Cy Young. I think there's a very good chance he hits the strikeout leader this year. And kind of coinciding with that, I don't know if we have any props yet for the first game. No, I see no props. I'm interested in Crochet's strikeout prop for opening day. He was absolutely nasty in the spring. And I know I just said I love Texas this year, but I think Crochet could easily punch out 8 or 9 in this first game. So I don't know what the line's going to be yet. I think it should be a little bit lower just because it's his first start. Probably concerned about how long he's going to go in the game, but he was regularly throwing, mid to upper 80s in spring training, his pitch count. So I think he should be pretty good for like 5 innings in this one, unless he runs into trouble. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but that was something that stuck out to me. I'm probably going to be interested in this Crochet strikeout prop for opening day. Guess we'll take a look at that later on in the week. Did you see that Tampa's playing their season at Yankee Spring Training Field? Yeah. That definitely will make things interesting for props, Nathan. And then the same thing with the Athletics playing in the AAA park in Sacramento because they're waiting to move to Vegas. So, yeah, there's a couple minor league parks, in use this year, which will make things interesting, not only for props, but for DFS too. I think stacking the teams there and stuff definitely will be an interesting wrinkle that we'll have to dissect kind of as the season goes on. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for today. No real basketball tonight. We do have some. What is it? Some NIT tonight. This is a really good game. Chattanooga and Bradley. I don't know. Man, I don't know. I kind of want to look into this game and maybe have a play. I'll look later on today, to be honest. But yeah, that about does it for today. If you guys have any other questions on anything, reach out to me on Twitter or go to rollinginsights.com. Hop in our Discord. We're still working on getting this Discord rolling. So if yeah, if you guys have any questions, hop in that Discord. And I'll be live tomorrow, same time, same place. And we'll kind of recap what went on today. Probably look at some more March Madness stuff tomorrow and maybe some NBA as well. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.